All right, guys, we are back for another interview at the Staking Summit 2025 here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This time I'm accompanied by Nico, CMO for Cosmos Labs.
Yes, so nice to be
Thanks.
here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Nico. I guess we'll start as we always do, introducing Cosmos Labs, and maybe it's for people who are not very familiar with Cosmos Labs, you can use a little bit of a rundown of your history within the staking ecosystem and what you're doing currently.
Okay, amazing. So I'm Nico. I've been in Web3 for the last, I'd say, 8 years by now. I came in through the door with Infra, IPFS, ENS back in the day. I think Protocol Labs is around the block as well. And from there, I moved on to the world of Ethereum, Near, and Cosmos. Cosmos Labs is the main development entity for Cosmos, the Cosmos stack, and its ecosystem. So product engineering, ecosystem growth, everything in house, the classic Foundation Labs entity. So I joined the Interchain Foundation 2 years ago when we refounded the foundation and built Labs.
Okay.
That happened in the last year, and now we aggregated all development for the stack there. And yeah, we work together hand in hand, Foundation and Labs, with the Interchain Foundation, and just promote and develop Cosmos.
All right, thanks. Very good introduction. Maybe to give a little bit more context, like many people hear about Cosmos SDK and we're building on Cosmos and we're deploying on Cosmos. Can you explain a little bit of this core principle of deploying a Cosmos chain and how it works?
Yeah, we always say we're not like other ecosystems, right? You think of an ecosystem, you think of a chain, contracts, users in one bubble. We are sort of a stack of technologies
Mm-hmm.
to build blockchains of any sorts: EVM, SVM, uh, new types, POA, POS, proof of work, even if you want to stage.
And
There's 300 plus public Cosmos chains out
Mhm.
there, right? Polygon is a Cosmos stack chain. Hyperliquid is a derivative fork of the Cosmos stack. Uh, so in the end, we are an ecosystem of chains. Some are interconnected via IBC,
Mhm.
like our native interoperability protocol with just like instant finality, and some are not. Some are private chains, some are banking chains. So building on Cosmos really is you want to build a ledger, an application-specific chain that can be also a contract layer if you like. And then the Cosmos stack, the SDK, IBC, these are just tools in your toolkit to do that.
All right.
But today, if you're building a blockchain or if you're looking to build your own ledger, Cosmos is the only stack of solutions that allows you to do that and customize the chain and its functionality at every level.
Okay.
If you build on L2s, you still are wrapped in the Ethereum media execution bar. Here you can change it. So
Okay.
that's sort of where the magic happens.
All right. Now, yeah. It's really good to you explain this because I think a lot of people have a little bit of confusion of what is Cosmos and then what can we do within the ecosystem, right? So from what I've heard, from what we were talking about a little bit before, we are pivoting a little bit from offering these solutions or focusing on the offering of the solutions to anyone into more of a kind of a niche institutional offering, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit better of what I said and why are you doing this?
100%. So historically, of course, the Cosmos stack is open source and anybody could use it and build on it. There's no doubt about that. We've seen, DYDX, Story Protocol, Babylon, just building chains of all different sorts, cache. Um, but there's a reality, which is, the right tool fits the right problem. And smart contracts are amazing for fast deployment of applications that need to find their product market fit, that are just exploring to get users, need more distributions, need more liquidity as well. And then building a chain is a big commitment, right? Like it's a big endeavor, both technically, economically, the amount of time you need to dedicate to it. Of course, we get to launch an L1 or whatever you need to build. But for us, part of the history of Cosmos has been just, as you said, focusing on anybody who's coming through the door. Yes, will help. Now, 100% will help everybody, but also we're finding that the place where Cosmos is mostly used, it has the biggest impact, are protocols that are maturing, and then they can benefit from moving from a contract to a chain because they get way more design freedom
Mhm.
to make performance enhancements, to build new functionalities. So think the Uniswaps of the world.
Mhm.
They're building Unichain, and that allows them to do crazy things like auto MEV themselves by default, or build gasless stablecoin ecosystems like Stable, Tether, and Arc is doing now, right? And then the other world where we are making a very strong impact, and Cosmos has been actually, let's say, winning for years, but didn't receive a lot of love, is institutional enterprises. We've seen this wave of chains coming onto blockchain by building their own ledgers, like Stripe, of course, and Circle as well with Arc. But there's a whole world of banking, gov, and maybe Fortune 500 enterprises that are also doing this. And today, Cosmos is the only stack that really fits their needs. Because when you get to certain scale, when you exist in certain legal frameworks, right, banking, finance, owning the technology and being technically sovereign,
Mhm.
independent from any other token, independent from any other network that you cannot control technologically speaking, um, is a no go, uh, and they need that freedom and that ownership. So we make this joke. We know it's cheesy, but it's the same reason of why Linux exists.
Mhm.
Because any enterprise that wants to build on it knows that they have the freedom to own the technology
Yeah.
from top to bottom and build it to their needs. And Cosmos there is tremendously strong. There's CBDC banking networks, for central banks that are already piloting, connecting different economies to make trade easier using IBC. We have the entire consortium of banks in Japan replacing Swift with Swift as well, who's like innovating on their own
Mm.
technology by using Cosmos Chain to connect uh, both Japan and Hong Kong as economies and then different banking entities together.
Okay.
Uh, so that is a new space in a way that we've sort of won for years, but
Mhm.
we didn't really pay a lot of attention to. And now it's a matter rather than a pivot of focusing down of our biggest strengths and winning the market we are best built, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, makes sense. Makes sense. I guess, working so many years uh, within these many different people, you understand. Okay, we're very strong here. We're good here. People can use it, but this is our core, utility is for these guys, right?
100%. And then how we see that duality in between, let's say, the grassroots developers, those people that are innovating, like breaking through the barriers of new use cases. We usually see that barrier as, the PMF use case as
Mhm.
things that we know are winning in crypto and blockchain today. Right now, we strongly believe that is tokenization and payments. It's tremendously strong and applicable at any business. And then there's so many other use cases that are yet to be developed and grown that we see today, right? Like AI, we see as well privacy being like probably the hottest thing in DevCon this year. Uh, and that doesn't mean that we're not focusing on that, but actually the role of those builders is now seeking those new PMFs that
Mhm.
break through. Because on the other side, we do have businesses and the other enterprise saying, hey, I want to consume the services that I see on Ethereum. I want to consume the things that I see on Solana. I want to use tokenized commodities from Injective, like a DeFi protocol. Because they need to do it from a sovereign and compliant blockchain and space, but they still want to integrate to this world. And this world has a lot to offer to all of
Yeah.
the users that they bring. Think, if it's a bank, it's like a couple thousand or 100,000 users or millions in some cases. We're in sort of like this little new dance where it's like permissionless system with permission systems, trying to offer things to each other and finding themselves. But it's new, right? It's like a new dilemma in a way.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of interrupt. I wouldn't say interoperability. There's some sort of balance between them, right?
Yeah,
You have to have
100%.
everything in the space. Um, it's like within this context, like, of course, Cosmos is, in a very broad perspective, is a competitor to Ethereum and other L1s and L2s, right? But in another way, it is not that much of a competitor because it tried to interchain all of them, right? Or be able to communicate with all of them. How do you see yourself? How do you position yourself within this competition space?
Yeah. So for those that have less context on Cosmos and the stack itself, our stack includes an interoperability solution, IBC, the Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol. And it's the only native solution, meaning you don't need intermediaries, third-party bridges, fully programmable, meaning you can build apps on the interoperability itself
Mm-hmm.
to send custom messages, custom calls, then send tokens without needing to create 100 derivatives
Yeah.
right, can run through chain as. But the most important thing is that it's just simply point to point and neutral. So there's no charges. It's not like another bridging company trying, to build another intermediary. Because why these businesses and projects are coming on chain are actually to cut those intermediaries away. Um, and we see it. Well, the importance of IBC as a neutral interoperability solution in exactly what you say. As I said before, both all the businesses and let's say the Web2 world that's coming on chain wants to consume what's on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Web3, Ethereum, Solana. We've seen it. I think we've seen like the director of BlackRock say like tokenization is absolutely the future, and
Yeah.
chains like Solana have new interesting primitives. They are super interested in that. And at the same time, every chain is built or is starting to find some sort of market, right? The most aggressive DeFi trading with the most like novel classes. We usually see it in Solana, right? We see Base offering like more traditional, let's say, DeFi primitives.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum as well with larger scale things like Aave winning
Yeah.
in the loaning market. That's innovation. All those things, you should see them as products or things that could be integrated into your bank, into your app, into the like PayPal, Stripe, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's real appetite. So the reason why your stock is neutral across the board, you can build EVM chains, you can build SBIT chains, and we're just building a interoperability protocol that allows you to interop with anybody. It is because of that. We think we have a role to play in helping connect the offerings on both sides of the table and allow that to happen. Our biggest difference, I think, sometimes is that we do see sometimes Ethereum or some L2s or Solana trying to uh, integrate more through or integrate less, right? It's either more about like building the winning solution
Yeah.
market. We do not believe that. We believe that, Ethereum has primitives and DeFi solutions that are only possible there.
Okay.
Um, and that companies that have the compliance ability and the risk appetite to build there will build there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's others that will not and will build their own blockchains,
Yep.
but they still want to integrate to each other.
Yeah.
And the same is true for Solar.
Mm-hmm.
So our role, as we see it, is to be a neutral facilitator for that. Yes, we are more centered on those that don't fit the compliance or risk or technological needs of Ethereum, and they build their own chains.
Mm-hmm.
But we're giving them the tools to come to Ethereum, Solana, and the other chains as well, and integrate where they need to.
Yeah.
And the same applies for our own ecosystem with Cosmos, the Hub, Atom. We have 150 chains that are all interconnected today,
Yeah.
and it works. It's real.
All right. No, great insight. Thanks a lot. I think I'm sorry. To wrap this up, maybe we can. I've been doing like a more broad question at the end of the interviews, which I think it's important, to get a perspective of how all of the players in the industry are thinking about the future, right? So, if you had to kind of take a guess at what big improvement is coming into the Web3 space in the next year or two, where would your money be?
Uh, that's a that's a good question. Not financial advice.
No.
It's not a coincidence. I think that privacy is hitting as hard as it's hitting,
Mhm.
and particularly from our end, in the let's say enterprise and institutional sector, there is no finance on chain without confidentiality, right? So that's tremendously important. Um, interoperability and intents still remains to be like solved at the best scale possible.
Okay.
but it's not as important as I'd say
Travis. Right.
confidentiality in the next 2 to 3 years. From here to like, what one of the things that we are thinking of deeply is okay, we have these two use cases that have won really well and strongly, right? Tokenization and payments. In the next 12 to 3 years, what will make and break the adoption of the rest of the world of these primitives is that we come out of the infrastructure later and start building ready-made solutions for your everyday small, medium, big bank, small,
And
medium,
you.
big business and users to integrate this into their businesses. Because anybody, any organization with two subsidiaries can benefit from no fee transfers between subsidiaries. Right? So that hasn't been solved yet. There's a ton of legal problems to fix still in compliance.
Yeah.
But those three things probably are what nearly can't.
Great answer, Nico. Thanks a lot. Yeah, again, I want to thank you for joining us and offering your insight on Cosmos Labs and the ecosystem as a whole. To wrap it up, if you want to leave a message where people can find you, please go ahead.
Happy to. So personally, you can find me on X. It's QX Alico. You'll find me on LinkedIn, of course, as well as Nicolas Poggi. Usually, if you swing by Portugal, you'll find us there. In Cosmos and Cosmos Lab, you can go to Cosmos on X, Cosmos.network, or Cosmos Labs. We have quite an open door policy generally. So whether you're a company builder or other foundations just looking to link up, you can hit us pretty much anywhere, whether it's our website or personally, and be able to.
All right, sounds lovely. Thanks again, Nico, and see you guys in the next time.